wins on Tuesday. Let's skip the Civil War and go right to reconciliation.
We're going to bring back Mark Levin now, host of Life, Liberty, and Levin. Mark, obviously a big concern is about potential unrest that could happen just right after election results roll in, if not in that aftermath when we don't know the results. And you've had law enforcement gearing up for that. And this comes on the heels of obviously an uptick in rioting and violence that you've seen in many cities across the country, defund the police movement that's out there. You've seen slashes already in some police budgets. What are your thoughts on all this and what we might see?
Well, who's doing the rioting? Who's burning the buildings? Who's looting? Are those Republicans? Are those people who support Donald Trump? Are those people who are threatening to burn cities down if their candidate doesn't win? Who are? They're Democrats. That's exactly why you don't hear Nancy Pelosi this weekend or Chuck Schumer this weekend. You barely hear from Biden, certainly not Kamala Harris, criticizing it. Now, who are the people who are mostly damaged from this? Black people and Hispanic people. This is happening in the inner cities. And so you have a lot of white kids going into these communities under the BLM banner, under the Antifa banner, as well as a lot of criminals who these cities have left out. So you have anarchy. Now, these cities are run by whom exactly? Democrats. And so the blame needs to be placed where it belongs, and accountability needs to be placed where it belongs. These riots, these looters, at some point are going to have to be put down because they're threatening the very fabric of this country. The hell, they're going to tell us if their candidate doesn't win, and their candidate is clearly Joe Biden, and their party's clearly the Democrat Party, that if they don't win, they're going to burn our cities? Screw that. The hell with that. These criminals need to be rounded up and put in prison. If they're going to do damage to people and harm people, and they're going to use pretexts and excuses to do it, that needs to end. That's number one. Number two, the American people need to know the Democrat Party is utterly silent. As a matter of fact, I'm wrong about that. Kamala Harris was out there yesterday talking about re-imaging the police, that we don't need more police. Re-imaging the police. That's like they're talking about rebalancing the Supreme Court. Listen to me. The Democrat Party supports criminals. The Democrat Party is supporting the rioters. The Democrat Party is supporting the looters because they think it's going to give them power. When the looters and the criminals in the streets hear Democrats talking about effectively, politically burning down the Supreme Court, burning down the Senate, burning down the Electoral College, well, what do you think their supporters are going to do? They're completely undermining the civil society. So this election's simple. It's really simple. Do you support law and order? Do you support the Constitution? Do you want to get back to normalcy? Or do you want everything turned on its head, fundamental transformation, challenging your businesses, attacking your income, attacking what kind of homes you have, and all the rest? And who are these masterminds who are so smart? AOC? 3 years ago, AOC was pouring drinks. Now, I don't have a problem with bartenders, unless they want to ruin my life. Then I have a problem with them. Who are these people? I have a question for you, America. I can tell you 20 things Donald Trump has done in 47 months to improve this country. Can you tell me one thing Joe Biden has done in 47 years? I swear to God. Tell me one thing. 39 years in the Senate, 8 years as a vice president. You know, Jed, they wave around Obamacare. I had callers on my program last night telling me their horrific stories about Obamacare, that it wouldn't cover Crohn's disease, that it wouldn't cover lymphoma, a kid having cancer, on and on and on, and they pretend it's this gold standard. Obamacare stinks, just like when they controlled the Veterans Administration and they had one Soviet-style system and the president broke it up and he added some free market health care to the Veterans Administration system. Why do we believe that bureaucrats and hack politicians who enrich themselves in Washington, D.C. know how to run our lives, know how to run our businesses, know how to do our jobs better than we do? Right. They don't. They always have a plan. Here's a plan. Here's a plan for energy. Here's a plan for immigration. Here's a plan for the economy. Really? Well, tell me something. These Democrats and their plans. Name one thing that they've done that's actually helped your life in the last 25 years. I can't think of one.
You know, Mark, I think the problem And therefore, the solution has to even be bigger than an election. You've done a great job of laying out so many of the problems. They go even deeper. You hinted at, or you actually said specifically, we got an issue on college campuses where debate is suppressed. We have tech companies suppressing free thought. We have mainstream media companies who won't tell stories. What I'm getting at here, Mark, is I think we have a cultural rot that will extend beyond any election. And so my question for you is, how do we fix that?
Well, you know, Will, we can't snap our fingers. We're a very complex and complicated society, but there are things we can begin to do. It took us 100 years to get here. Maybe it'll take us 100 years to get out of here. The first thing we do is elect the right person as president, hold the Senate, and take the House, so we can at least protect our constitutional institutions like the Supreme Court and the United States Senate. From there, I have a few ideas of my own. We need to start defunding these colleges and universities because they're breeding grounds for riots and leftism and activities of that sort. So they want to talk about the BDS movement, the anti-Semitic movement against Israel that's being led by, among others, Black Lives Matter. We need a BDS movement to start to get our country back in all these areas where the phony progressives, the soft Marxists, have taken over. But that's for another day. Right now, we need to vote. We need to make sure our families vote, our friends vote, an army of patriots who want to protect this country turns out and crushes this opposition. That's what needs to happen.
Yeah, Mark Levin, you're totally right. In order to address the cultural side, which Will referred to, you have to, at this moment, get to the polls and win an election just to create the shield for that moment to happen at all. Mark Levin, thank you so much for your clarity. You've got a program tonight, correct? 7 o'clock?
Very important, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, our special election show for 1 hour. I'm the guest, so I hope everybody will join us.